What's up, y'all? It's your boy eBay Predictions in the building. I will be doing the UFC Fight Island 6 full card predictions. Korean Zombie versus Brian Ortega. This is a pretty decent card. Some really good fights. But we start off this card with Faris Ziem versus Jamie Malarkey. Faris comes in 10-3, fights out of France, age 23, height 6'1", reach 75. Jamie is 12-3, fights out of Australia, age 26, height 6 foot, and a reach of 74. So not a real big difference in the height and reach. In terms of recent wins for Faris, Yassine Hadiji, and his most recent loss was to Don Mage. And Jamie Malarkey, his most recent win was against Edmir Teixeira, and his most recent loss was to Brad Rydell. That fucking war they had. This is a really good fight. But if Jamie can't take this guy down, I don't think he can win. Jamie's really tough. He gained a lot of my respect in that Brad Rydell fight. I picked against him, and I almost thought he was going to get Brad. And he impressed me there. He's tough as hell, so Faris can't take this guy lightly, but he's just just a high... I wouldn't say a high-level kickboxer, but he's, I think, a better kickboxer than this guy. I think he has legitimate pro experience at that. So Jamie has to get this to the ground. I don't think he's going to do it. I don't think that's in his blood or in his DNA. And I think Faris is going to get this by... What am I going with for Faris? I think it's probably by decision. I am going... Yeah, I'm going by decision. So, yeah. Next fight, Said Nurmagomedov versus Mark Strigley. Said comes in 13-2, fights out of Russia. Age 28, height 5'8". Recent wins was Ricardo Ramos, and his most recent loss was to Reno Barcelosis. I think that's how he says that guy's name. Mark Striegel is it's like 18-2, fights out of Philippines, age 32, height 5'8". His most recent win was against Do Yong Lee. And his most recent loss was to Reese McLaurin in 2015. So this guy, I would say both these guys have a strong suit in grappling and stuff like that. And I think the real difference in this fight is really, Said's ability to strike. And I think his ability to strike is at a different level and the Marks. And I think that's where this fight takes place. Said is coming off a loss, and Mark does have the experience in terms of fights. He has more fights, but I think Said's been in there with some high level competition in the UFC. Mark's a good grappler though. He can catch him. I was actually going to go Mark against Timur Valiev when they were gonna fight, and I just thought Mark was gonna get in with a sub, but I think Said's ability to wrestle, and I think he's gonna keep it on the feet, and I think his kicks and all that. I think they're gonna set him apart. But Mark's a good dog though. But I'm gonna be going Said by decision. Next fight, Gadzhimurad versus Antigulov versus Maximum Grishin. Antigulov comes in 20-7, fights out of Russia, age 33, height 5'11", and a reach of 70. Maximum he's 30-8-2 at light heavyweight. Fights out of Russia, age 36, height 6'3", and a reach of 76. In terms of recent wins, Antigulov's most recent one was against Josh Christensen in 2017. Maximum's most recent one was against McCall Muktuin. In terms of recent losses, Antigulov is coming off a loss to Paul Craig. Maximum's coming off a loss to Marcin Tybura at heavyweight. So I give a lot of credit to Grishin for taking that fight against Tybura at heavyweight. He's not a natural heavy. You could just see it. He did some good things in that fight, but obviously you could just see the size difference, and Tybura was just able to bully him around. Antigulov is another guy. I think this is it's the same matchup for Grishin. Obviously, he's going to be dealing with another guy that wants to take him down, that wants to wrestle, but he's dealing with someone with his own size. You could see Antigolov's last fight, he went for the takedown straight against Paul Craig. Craig submitted him and got him out there real quick. this was a hard one for me to go through, but Antigulov is on a 3-fight losing streak. I don't like to see that, and when I see these Russian guys go on 3-fight losing streaks, it usually they don't stop. I know he wants to really win, but I think Maxim is a better striker, and I think the size, he is a little older, but I think the size, and he's just bigger and taller, is going to help him, and I think he's going to be able to stop those takedowns. But I could be wrong. Antigulov could win this by decision. I could see this, but I'm going to be going Maxim Grishin. Am I going decision? Let me see. Let me check. I think I am going decision because they're kind of boring. Oh, I'm not. I'm going Grishin by second round knockout. That's where I'm going on Tapology. Next fight, you got Yong Park versus John Phillips. Park comes in 11-4, fights at a career age 29, height 5'10", and a reach of 73. Phillips is 22-11, fights out of Wales, England, I think. Age 35, height of 5'11", and a reach of 75. In terms of recent wins, Park is coming off his most recent win was against Marc-Andre Barriet, and Phillips' most recent win was against Alan Akhmedovsky. And Park's most recent loss was to Anthony Hernandez, and Phillips' most recent loss was to Chimaev. So we saw Phillips fight Chimaev, and he didn't look good in there. It looked like he's always had problems with grapplers. I think that's just it. But, when Philip fought the Allen kid, or Alain, or whatever his name is, he knocked that fool out quick. So he has power. Park, he's kind of like in that similar position. He's not I wouldn't say he's as good as a grappler as Chimaev, but he's a grappler, and that's what he's looking to do. And usually Phillips don't really win these kind of matchups. I don't think Park's gonna finish Phillips. I don't think he's gonna submit him. He can, but I see Park winning this by decision. I think just the grappling advantage, and just Phillips, that's just his main hole. I don't know why Phillips keep accepting these matchups, but these are the kind of matchups he has problems with. But yeah, it is what it is. I just see Park taking him down, grinding him, and it just kind of being a little boring. But hey man, Phillips can still knock him out though. He always got that one-hitter quick. So I'm gonna go Park by decision. Gillian Robertson versus Poliana Botelho. Gillian comes in 8-4, is the number 15 flyweight in the world, fights out of Florida, age 25, height 5'5", and a reach 63. Poliana is 8-2, fights out of Brazil, age 31, height 5'8", and a reach 67. So Poliana has that reach advantage. In terms of recent wins, Juliana's coming off a win over Courtney Casey. Poliana's most recent win was Lauren Mueller. In terms of recent losses, is it Gillian? I think Gillian. Did I call it Julian? I hope I didn't call her Juliana. Gillian's most recent loss was to Macy Barber, and Poliana's most recent loss was to Cynthia Calvillo. Yeah, this is not that hard for me to look at. I could just see the issues that Poliana has gone through. She hasn't done well against wrestlers. That's Gillian's main game, man. She likes to take girls down, and she likes to submit girls, and that's what she does, man. She's really good at it. She kind of impressed me against Courtney Casey. I didn't think she was gonna submit her like that. I thought she was gonna beat her by decision, but I didn't think she was gonna take her out like that. And I just her working with Dean Thomas. Dean Thomas is a really good coach. He's I like his mindset about there's submissions for MMA, and there's submissions you can do in jiu-jitsu, and I just like his mindset of grappling and trying to advance the grappling world. And I like the people she's around. She's an American top team girl, I think. I don't know who this other girl's Nava Yunyu, I think. I don't know what gym she trains at, but yeah, I think Gillian takes this by a third round submission. I'm going there. Next fight, Thomas Almeida versus Jonathan Martinez. This is going to be a banger, and I've been having a hard time knowing who I'm going to go with in this fight. I'm still having a hard time, getting a feel for this fight. But, Thomas Almeida comes in 22-3, fights out of Brazil, age 29, height 5'7", and reaches 72. Jonathan 12-3. Fights out of Texas, Houston. Age 26, height of 5'8", and a reach of 69. Thomas, his most recent win was against Albert Morales, and Jonathan's most recent win was against Frankie Shanes. Thomas, I think, is coming off a loss to Rafont, and Jonathan is coming off a loss to Andre Ewell. He did not lose that fight, y'all. Come on. But this is a great fight, man. You know, Thomas Almeida, man, when he was coming up, man, he was the guy, man. I'm telling y'all, bro. This guy was, I mean, a lot of people thought, you know, he was gonna go on a streak, and he's dealt with some issues in his career. But I think what really made him dangerous is that, you know, he had a really crazy rhythm of Muay Thai. Like, he'll go for hooks, elbow, and then hit the high knee. You know, he was like that. And I remember when he fought Brad Pickett couldn't do shit with him. He didn't know how to deal with that dude. And that guy's Muay Thai, he just had a rhythm that he was going to stick with. And it's a crazy rhythm, and it's very offensive. And he fucked Brad Pickett up. And I remember he got him with this fucking high knee. And it was better than the Jeremy Stevens one over Dennis Bermudez, I think. I remember that card. And I remember just telling people, man, that Thomas Almeida kid might be something special. And then I remember when he fought Cody Garbrandt, young Cody Garbrandt. Cody was, at this time, he's a different guy than he is now, but he was able to, he was really good in the pocket. And he was able to disrupt that guy's rhythm. He didn't let him get anything he wanted off, and he took him out of there quick. You know, he took him out of there quick. And then same thing with Rob Font. He just disrupted his rhythm. And I think Jimmy Rivera kind of just took, you know, he kind of just figured him out in that fight. So, I don't know. I know a lot of people are going with Thomas Almeida over this kid, Jonathan Martinez. This kid, Jonathan Martinez, has been impressing me, man. He has just looked better and better and better. And I'm stuck with, am I going to go with the guy with more experience? And Almeida's on a 2-fight losing streak, so it's like, I know he wants to win. And Jonathan just looked like a god against Frankie Shanes. And it's Frankie, and he's an older man, and he's going for takedowns. So, like, him getting caught with that knee was just, you expected it. But I'm going to take a risk here. I'm going to go Jonathan Martinez via second round TKO. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, I'm not going to do this. But I'm going to do it. Next fight, we got a really banger right here. I'm going to have a hard time saying their names, but this is a banger, y'all. Mateusz Gamrot versus Guram Kutateladze or something like that. Gamrot comes in 17-0, fights out of Poland, age 29, height 5'10". Guram is 11-2, fights out of Sweden, age 28, and a height of 5'11". Gamrot's most recent win was against Marine Zaleski, and Guram's most recent win was against Felipe Silva. Gamrot's, he's undefeated. The kid's, high level. And Guram's most recent loss was to Paul Kalecki. But, you know, this kid, Guram, he should not be underestimated. I'll say that. He's a really, you can tell, I've seen some of his MMA fights, you can tell he has a really legit level of kickboxing or Muay Thai. I was trying to find some tape, maybe some amateur fights, but he is high level at that. I seen the way he threw the front kick at this one dude, it was slick, it was mean, and it was tough. So they shouldn't, I feel like people shouldn't underestimate this kid, but I think Gamrot has the tools to beat him. I think he has I just feel like he's going to have to wrestle a lot. He's going to have to wrestle a lot against this kid, and he's going to have to do that. And I think that's how he wins this fight. But this kid, Guram, man, the way he threw a cross and then to high kick combination, he threw that kick, so slick. And he was just spamming it over and over and over in one of his fights. And I was like, oh my God, this kid's a problem. Man, these guys that they're getting right now, that they're recruiting in this Rona era, are killers, man. They look like killers in M1 or, you know, wherever they're fighting at. But, man, you know, it's scary, man. It's scary. But yeah, I'm going Gamrot by decision, man. I think he's gonna have to wrestle. I think he knows that. I don't think he wants to be in a kickboxing match against this kid. But yeah, I'm going Gamrot by decision. Next fight, Claudio Silva versus James Krause. Silva comes in 14-1. Fights out of Brazil, age 38. That's a big thing. Y'all gotta look at. Height 5'11", reaches 71. James Krause 27-8. Fights out of Missouri, age 34, and a height of 6'2", and reaches 75. Claudio Silva's most recent win was against Cole Williams and is on a 4-fight win streak. His most recent loss was to Matt Thrope in 2007. Man, that was a while, right? James Krause, he's coming off. His most recent win was against Sergio Moraes. Sergio's always been hit or miss, man. Funny enough, Sergio Moraes has a win over Omar Makadev, which is actually kind of interesting. I didn't know that, but he's been the guy that I feel like everyone's beating. I've seen him lose to Worley Alvarez, seen him lose to Kumar Usman. Now looking at it, losing to Usman isn't a bad thing because he's the champ, but he's just been getting beat like he's just some loose pussy or something like that. But it is what it is. And James Krause is coming off a controversial loss to Trevin Giles. I don't think he lost that fight either. So yeah, this is a hard one though. And interesting enough, Claudio Silva has a win over Leon Edwards by split decision. So that's kind of interesting. This is hard for me to go. And Claudio's obviously going to be looking for submissions. That's all he's going to be looking for. You look in the Danny Roberts fight. I think James Krause again, and I'm hoping, because here's the problem with MMA. Sometimes when you have these fighters fight each other, or when you have fighters that have, you have a black belt and you have a brown belt, but let's say the brown belt has like a better striking background and is a better striker. Sometimes you see this happen a lot where they don't care and they get caught in these grappling situations and they're just kind of okay with being there. There's no urgency to get up, and there's an acceptance of just like, okay, let's see where this goes. I think I can compete with you here. And then they get submitted when they have that advantage on the feet. I'm scared that James Krause might accept being on the ground with him and is not going to have an urgency to get right back up. I don't know. I hope to God that he has a brain. He has a brain and he gets right fucking back up and he puts it on him. But James Krause might not have that much of a strike. I think he's the better Muay Thai fighter. I think he has better kicks than Claudio Silva. But Silva has a decent overhand. But the experience, obviously, which is kind of crazy that Krause is the younger fighter with more fights than Silva. This one's kind of... I wouldn't blame you if you go the other way. But I'm going to be going James Krause via decision. I think via decision. But I would not be surprised if Silva took him down and submitted him because Krause wanted to be cute or whatever. But next fight, Ciryl Gane versus Anita Delija, or Anete, or whatever I say that guy's name. Ciryl comes in 6-0, fights out of France, age 29, height 6'4", and reaches 83. Anita is 17-3, age 30, height 6'5", and it reaches 79. Gane's most recent one was against Tanner Bozer. Anita's most recent one was against Oli Thompson. Gane's obviously undefeated. Anita's most recent loss was to Marcin Tybura via leg injury in 2015. This is a really, really hard fight for Gane, I think. This guy, Anete, I was doing some research on him. Seen some tape. He looks like a good fighter. He looks like a decent grappler with a good overhand. And he's a savage, man. The only thing I didn't, it kind of, maybe it's me, and obviously he's in different promotions, so there's different rules. But, dude, he had wrestling shoes on, and he was throwing these goddamn soccer kicks at people. And I'm like, come on, bro. Like, I don't like that shit. Coming from Oakland and stuff like that, you see a lot of that kind of stuff where people, not soccer kicks, but you see street fights, and they get kicked in their head or they get curb stomped. I hate that shit. And it kind of bugged me. I'm not going to be picking against him based on that, but it kind of bugged me a little bit that he did that. But obviously, he has a good, decent grappling game. Gane's has shown he's able to submit guys, and he beat Tanner Bozer, who's a good guy. Tanner Boser's been looking great since that loss to Gane. So, and Gane, I think he's Francis Ngannou's main sparring partner, something like that. He's a sparring partner or whatever. So I'm gonna be going Gane, via decision. But this guy Andrade, man, he's 17-3. He has the experience, and I feel like he if he can play this fight right, Gane is not like he'll beat the shit out of you, but he doesn't have crazy knockout power, and he just beats on people. And he's a good striker. I like his rhythm. You don't see a lot of that. You don't see that kind of rhythm and that kind of stance and that that Muay Thai ability in the heavyweight division. So I like the guy, but I could see him losing this fight. But it is what it is. Next fight. I don't know if this is going to be the co-main event or it's not. Maybe they're not going to make it. But Jessica Andrade versus Katlyn Chookagian. Jessica comes in 20-8. She's the number 4 strawweight in the world, but she's going up to flyweight. Fights out of Brazil, age 29. Height 5'1", Arisa 62. Katlyn Chookagian, 14-3, the number 2 flyweight in the world. Fights out of New Jersey, age 31. Height 5'9", reach 66. Y'all, bro, this is hurt. This is pulling out my heartstrings right now. But this Andrade's most recent win was against Rose Namajunas, and obviously her most recent loss was Rose in the rematch. Katlyn Chookagian is coming off a win over Antina Shevchenko, and that's her most recent win, and her most recent loss was to her sister, Valentina Shevchenko. This is a hard fight. This is a hard fight for me to predict. I know a lot of people are going Jessica Andrade, and I love Jessica Andrade. Y'all know me. I famously picked Jessica Andrade. Actually, I don't think I made a channel for that. But I picked Jessica Andrade for the rematch against Rose. That's what's on the channel. But before that, I picked Jessica to beat Rose. And I remember when I was so confident because she had knocked out what's the girl's name? Fuck, what happened? What's her name? The girl, she's from Poland. Oh my god, I don't forget her name, bro. Let me. Nah, y'all, bro. That's crazy. How did I forget her name? I hope it's in there. Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Yeah, that's her name. So, when she knocked out Karolina Kowalkiewicz, I was so confident that she was gonna beat Rose Namajunas and knock her out. And she looked so good against Karolina. I remember she just didn't. I didn't think she looked like a brawler. And then she fought Rose, and she looked like a brawler with only a good single leg high crotch, and she looked trash, and she looked terrible. And then she fought Weili Zhang, and she got destroyed. Everyone was making fun of Jessica Andrade, calling her a fake champ, disrespecting my girl, and then she fought Rose again. They did the rematch, and everyone called me stupid. I said Jessica's might have her number, she's gonna get her. And basically, in that fight, the opposite happened. I felt like Rose was winning the first 2 rounds in the first fight, and kind of, did it happen in the second round? It happened, I think, or the third. I don't know when it happened, the dump. But she was winning the first part of the fight, and then she got caught. I personally feel like Jessica Andrade was about to win. If that fight had went 5 rounds, I felt like Jessica Andrade was about to knock out Rose Namajunas. I thought she had won the third round. The second round was super close. And obviously Rose won. I think Rose won, to be fair. But I felt like Jessica kind of proved to the public that she deserves to be a top 5 strawweight. And she deserves some fucking respect. And she showed that there wasn't a big difference between her and Rose. I don't know why Rose looked like that, but she made Rose look bad. And, you seen the head movement? So, but the problem is, I remember I ran a fight on UFC 4 right here, right? I ran the fight, and I seen the height difference, y'all, between Katlyn Chookagian and it's insane. Jessica Andrade looks like a fucking midget compared to Katlyn Chookagian. Y'all, this is insanity. I'm gonna be oh my god. Here's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping we don't see Jessica Andrade come, how she's been doing her last 2 fights as a striker. She can wrestle. She can grapple. I need her to, do that Tisha Torres thing. I need her to come out like she fought. What's that girl's name? I forgot her name. Claudia Gadelha. Why am I forgetting these girls' names? I need her to come out like she fought Claudia Gadelha. I need her to slam her, pick her up, and just destroy her. That's how I need But Katlyn Chookagian can win this fight with her range and not getting taken down and just outstriking Jessica Andrade. I can see that. But hopefully Andrade has a heavy wrestling game plan and gets this done. I'm picking Andrade via decision, but man, this is pulling at my heartstrings, man. And I see everyone picking Andrade to win this fight, and I'm like, yo, man, this is not that easy. But I hope Andrade makes it, and I hope we can get. It's gonna be interesting to see who gets the number one contender spot at flyweight after Jennifer Maia, because Cynthia's fighting, I think, Lauren Murphy on 254, so it's gonna be interesting. But I don't know, I think Jessica's in a pretty good spot to get that spot, to get that number one contender spot. But it's like there was a reason why Cynthia was number 10 at strawweight and why Jessica was a former. It's like, yeah, if they were to make that, if they were supposed to pick who should be the number one contender, I'm just saying. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Katlyn Chookagian can obviously ruin that party, so I don't want to count her out. Next fight, Modestas Bukauskas versus Jimmy Crute. Modestas, right? Let me say just Bukauskas. Comes in 11-2. Fights out of England. Age 26, height 6'3", and reaches 78. Crute, 11-1. Fights out of Australia. Age 24. Height 6'2", and reaches 72. Bukauskas' most recent win was against Andreas Michailidis, which was kind of controversial with the elbows and stuff like that. He hurt his kid in the back of the head, man. It was terrible. And his most recent loss was to John Redmond. Crute's most recent one was against I think Michael. Oh man, I'm struggling with this last name. Oh man, I'm not even trying to say it. I'm not even trying to hurt myself. And I think, is it Michelle? It might be Michelle or Michael. Michael's the guy with the really good boxing at light heavyweight. He almost beat OSP. Y'all know who I'm talking about. And Jim Crute's most recent loss was to Misha Serkinov. How I see this fight going, that's hard. I think Jim Crute takes this guy down. He's good though. This Bukauskas, he was Cage Fury, right? What's the England promotion he came out of? I forgot the England promotion he came out of, but yeah, I think Jim Crute takes this guy down, man. I think Andreas was trying to get there, and he was going for takedowns, and he kind of looked successful in some of those transitions. So I think, yeah, I'm going Jim Crute by second round submission. But yeah, that's this kid. He has really good power, good kickboxer. Yeah, he's a good kid. Strong, big, like really built good. So I think he's from Lithuania. So it's interesting guy. But yeah, I just think Jim Crute's wrestling advantage and grappling advantage is just. There's levels to this shit. And he hits hard. Jim Crute hits hard. So, next fight, Brian Ortega versus Korean Zombie. I'm not going to talk about the stats too much. I did a breakdown on this fight. Y'all should go check that out. But I'm going to be going Korean Zombie, the third round TKO. I'm making my decision there. I don't know what I did. I wonder what I said in my breakdown. I hope I didn't say anything else. I hope I said third round TKO. But yeah, I just, there's too many holes in Brian Ortega's game. He's a slow starter. He gets dropped. He got dropped in against Clay Guida. He was getting lit up against Renato Mocanho. He was getting lit up even against Cub Swanson. And he got fucking destroyed against Max Holloway. He's a slow starter. That kind of goes into Korean Zombie's game. He's a fast starter. It's just one of these things. Like, nothing against the guy. I think Ortega's tough. That's why I say he might go to the third round and just get beat on. And I think Ortega's wrestling ability is not there to take him down. I think Korean Zombie, he's not gonna get taken down. I don't think he's gonna get taken down by Ortega. And yeah, I don't think it's just really hard to go with Ortega right now. I don't think there's anything Ortega can do to Zombie. Besides, the only way I can see Ortega winning is if Zombie just like runs after him like he did in the Yair Rodriguez and tries to clinch up with him, and maybe he could catch him. That's the only way I can see Ortega winning. I just don't think he has that wrestling ability. I know he took Max Holloway down twice, and I know he tripped up Cub Swanson. He can take people down, but I remember I'd seen Renato Moicano. They asked Renato Moicano who do you think he's gonna win, and he just straight up said Korean Zombie. He just doesn't think Ortega's wrestling is where it should be. Ortega obviously has the jiu-jitsu advantage, but he's just not gonna get it done. And that's where I just see this fight going at. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yeah, I'm going Korean Zombie via third round TKO. And yeah, go follow me on Twitter, on Instagram. And yeah, eBay predictions is out. I love y'all. I hope you guys enjoy this video. And bye.